Hi guys, and welcome to the April edition of Small Space Gardening Collaboration. And today we're going to be talking about microclimates. Now, everywhere where we live, we have a climate, but there are certain things in our environment where we live that can affect our particular growing space in a major way, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. I live in York. It is what would be classed as zone 8, so it's not 8A or 8B on the US system, but York is in a valley, so predominantly we get a lot of fog, we get a lot of mist, and we get a lot of overcast days like this. We also get a lot of rain, but because we have the gable here over the house, not many of our plants get any kind of benefit from that. So watering is still an important task, especially with the trees. Now, particularly where we live, here in York gets very, very windy, and we can get up to 80-mile winds, wind gusts up to 120 miles an hour without even thinking about it. Now, when I first moved here and we thought, oh, we're enclosed, we have a 6-foot fence and a 6-foot fence, and we've got a 10-foot wall behind us plus the house, this area would be windproof. Yeah, we were wrong. Okay, this area is actually a wind tunnel, and that caused a major issue when we were putting up the greenhouse, which tried to turn up in the kitchen, which I don't blame it really, because honestly, yeah, but it does mean that we have to be particularly mindful of wind, and any plants that won't tolerate that need to be put in an area where they're going to get some shelter. So that's an important thing to take into consideration. The other thing is, we do have this massive 10-foot wall behind us, and that will help to heat the greenhouse, and I'll explain. So this wall heats up a lot in summer, and it means that our classified unheated greenhouse is actually heated because the ambient heat is given off to the greenhouse and to the plants inside of it, which raises the temperature for us without us having to worry about it being a cold day, or halfway through winter we're still going to get some heat off that brick wall into the greenhouse. Does it mean that that's going to be the case all the time? No, because if we have a couple of months where it's incredibly cold, it's going to work the other way and be incredibly cold. So we need to take that into consideration as well. We have to take in consideration is where the sun is. Now, the sun rises over those chimney pots, and over the day slowly goes over the top of the house. Now, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that sun, this whole courtyard becomes incredibly shady. So we placed the greenhouse here so that it gets the most hours of the day, and in summer evening of sun. So when we wake up at about 6-7 o'clock in the morning, or even 5 o'clock in the morning, depending on what time of the year it is, it's getting that way to 5 in the morning, we're going to this area is going to be getting a lot of sun until 3 o'clock. So we need to take care of it and check it a couple of times a day to make sure that it's not too much of an issue. Does, however, make it a really nice place to sit in the afternoon on a nice summer evening, because you're not in the direct sun. Yes. At the front, we have to take into consideration not only the fact that this is an absolute wind tunnel, but the fact that across the road we have 3 stories of housing. Now that means that at about 12 o'clock in the summer, when the sun comes over our house and goes over there, that we have until about 4 o'clock, sometimes 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that this space gets a lot of sun. So that's something to consider. The other thing is as well, is because it's a wind tunnel and because the sun is further in this direction, not in that direction, we have to put everything that's high at the back of the beds and work it out so that nothing gets shaded by the other plants. So everything tall goes on the ends and we make it smaller as we come in further, so we don't add to the shading. The flower bed is actually starting to look like a flower bed and a herb bed. Yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with those weeds again. The interesting part about this part of the building is that we have this big window. Now that actually starts to get rather hot at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We end up with a lot of sun from there, but it reflects back into the garden as well, which is actually quite useful because it actually does give it a little bit of extra sun from the side as it reflects outwards. Bottom line is this: every garden has a microclimate and you need to be able to watch your garden and see what it does. That's why a lot of gardeners don't tend to do very much until they know exactly what's going on, and they tend to wait about a year watching the land, watching the garden, seeing what happens. Now it's been a particularly long winter and a long winter, and it's only really this week, which is the end of April going into May, that we're actually starting to see temperatures over 15 degrees Celsius, which means that I can start putting things out. Hopefully on the other end of that, that means we're going to have a longer summer, but you know, we'll just see how it goes from there. I hope you found this video interesting. If you have, please do go and check out the other collaborators in this series. There is a playlist. The playlist is mentioned down below. The other channels are mentioned down below in the description, and yeah, go check them out because everyone has a different garden or gardening space or things that they are doing, and so go and check them out because there's bound to be something there for you. I'll see you guys next month. I love you guys heaps. Mwah. Bye.